Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Project Rend update blog videos. As always, my name is Dizzy. I am the builder creator of Project Rend. I am going to be going over all of the updates that I've been doing for the last, 10 days since I released a video or so. I've been extremely busy for this last 10-day period. I think I have shipped more code in the last 10 days than I did in the last 2 videos before that combined. If I had to guess, I'm not counting PRs here, but there's been a lot of work, a lot of new cool stuff that I'm really excited about. And I think most importantly is the fact that I'm running out of stuff on my list. I'm extremely excited to say that I've built almost all the things that I intended to build and all the things that I've thought about along the way. There's still a couple little housekeeping things that I want to do, but that is the bulk of my list. Is like, it's getting empty. Things are getting down to the like V1. I'm ready to, or almost ready to put this thing out. Usually at the with these videos at the end, I'll do what I call housekeeping. So I'll give you an update about what's going on, but I'm going to do that first today. As of right now, because I'm running out of ideas of things to build, I am looking to figure out how to ship this tool in the near term. I've never done a web shipment like this before, so I need to learn a couple things as I go. Most importantly, it is, how do I package this app into the framework, the Electron framework that it sits on top of, into an installer that I can, make one easy button, download, install, run capability. To do that, I need to figure out how updates work. So as I push updates to some GitHub repo or something else, some server, make sure that the app is able to see that there's an update, grab the update, download the update, install it, and then, test it. Because we are getting ready for that release period, the beta period will be, next, probably. I think the next video that I publish will probably be about either the results of the beta test or, final feature shipment before I do it. I'm not sure yet. But the people who have given me advice, who have given me ideas, who have been working with me on these ideas as we go, who've talked to me about the things that they want, they're the people that I'm going to be doing beta testing with first. And as there are people from the community that decide that they want, generally people who have joined the Discord and have talked to me about what they're after, I want to engage those people too, because I want to get a wide variety of experiences and thoughts and ideas from people that are out there that want to make use of something like Project Rend. Be that as it may, I think that's pretty much everything that I need to do for housekeeping. I need to build the website. I have a domain. I have 2 domains. One will redirect to the other one, and it'll probably be one single page, so development won't take me too long. That will just be like a quick description about what Project Rend is, what it does, why it matters to you, what's the value. It's free, so I'm not expecting too much trouble from people. And a button to download. I probably will put some kind of like Discord auth in front of it, because I don't want to get hit with spam bots downloading this app a million times, because I have to figure out where like hosting goes for the Electron app service, the update service, so that when I push an update, it actually goes out as expected, and that I don't have like this exposed endpoint that people can just randomly touch and download stuff off of. And because I want to make sure that this doesn't end up costing me thousands of dollars to distribute. I don't mind spending some of my own money to make sure that this app works and is out there, but of course I don't want issues with security and bots and crawlers to cause me problems unnecessarily. So that's why I've been thinking so deeply about these issues, especially since I haven't done this part of the dev stack before. So those are the big major updates for housekeeping, things that I think people are probably most interested for the way this app is going to work and what they want from it. But I'm going to move on now to all of the different things and updates that I've built over the past 10-ish days. There's a couple really major feature updates in here and a bunch of little minor ones, but I've been very busy, and I'm really excited to tell you guys all about it. So first blush, we've got this kind of landing page here, and I know I showed last week during the last video that I built this prep modal here, this pop-up, where it only had a couple things, but now I've built more. I want to give a big shout out to Jay Plays. He's a pretty well-known content creator in the tower community as they go, and he said, hey, really like the checklist idea. Have you seen this other checklist that is in his Notion page? Something that I think all of you should check out. He's worked really hard on putting different resources into it, different spreadsheets, different apps and ideas, list of content creators. I think he put my own name in there, which is like, thank you very much for doing that. Didn't ask you to do that, and I really appreciate the fact that you did. And he said, there's this other checklist that I've been using. Take a look. And so once I looked at it, he gave me a couple ideas, a couple of the things that are in this checklist here that I didn't have already. I also noticed that as I built the target priority list last time, it didn't have closest or spotlight, so added those. Battle conditions. The battle conditions list here tries to do its best to figure out like how many things you need. So if I reset this guy here, if I had just finished a Legends and knocked out and I'd be in Champion next, it looks at what's in here effectively and then auto-populates this list. If you actually know it's wrong, I didn't record my final run correctly, or I didn't record my last tournament, wherever it may be, you can always change it. But as you go through, so there's one default condition for champion and there's 5 additional, so there's 6 conditions total. This scales as you go through the list, so copper doesn't have any, and then legend we have 2 mandatory conditions and then another 6 that you pick from. So always, I think generally always 1 enemy ultimate. I don't know if there's ever one with a time where there isn't one. So I think with this last go around we had protector, and I don't know, we'll call it plasma cannon, resistance, knockback. I think we had armored enemies, enemy attack speed, I'm doing this from memory, and I think ultimate weapon duration were the ones we had. So as you build this list, now I've added all these kind of written descriptions for things that, especially for newer players, maybe if you need something to help you pay attention, a list of things to pay attention to, like, hey, when you have armored enemies, maybe you need to do more for crowd control, because crowd control, when you have all these enemies that you need to hit 100 times before they die, obviously you need to do something with like attack speed. So I just wanted to do a little bit more to get people's minds right. I also really think that, I haven't done this yet, but as you do like a new run, each of these things for a new run recording, each of these list items, I want to write back to any tournament runs that you do, so that way you get a list of how you performed under various battle conditions over time. So that way, as we do more science project experiment capabilities like analytics within the application, those data are available to you so that you can kind of really get a good sense for tweaks that you've made, things that you've done that really helped you or didn't help you, or battle conditions you do worse in, of course. I want to be able to find ways to highlight that. So I haven't done this yet, but there is, definite plans to at least take what you've checked off here and put it onto your thing, and then onto the run detail modal. So this thing, so have it down here when tournament's selected, because this already pops up. What is a tournament? It's forcing it to be a tournament right now because this is champion, but if I didn't, it would turn off. So I want to be able to put those in there too, just not built yet. That's, I think, probably one of the more nice to have options than it is a need to have, but definitely, want to go over what I'm intending to do with tournament prep. Other things that are available in this page, and I think generally this page alone, I probably should put this in settings as well, but the import data button. I know there's a relatively new website called Run Tracker that does a lot of the similar run capture using OCR capability as mine. I think we've been both building these applications concurrently. JD got to develop or deployment much faster than I did, but of course, a lot of people who use that website have said, hey, I think once it's ready, I probably am going to want to use Rend. Is there a way for me to migrate? So I very quickly built an interpreter that pulls in all the rows and all the sheets in here. You can just upload it. I'm pretty sure what tier should I farm is now merged with this website, so it should be all kind of one same thing. If there's some, ability to get your old data and download it as a spreadsheet, I will tell you that these are the things you need to do. If you put it in, and then the system can take it in. Effective paths, just to get your labs, maybe your module counts and your workshop amounts, your numbers for at least some of those things. I haven't built it. I don't think it'll be that difficult to take what does each row translate to in your actual backend here. But if people want to migrate using that spreadsheet, shouldn't take me too long to set it up. I just haven't had a whole lot of signal of people asking for it just yet. That is it for this page. So for the dashboard, I think I said I probably will make this editable. I ended up doing it. So if you notice that your lifetime coins, so right now the app, if you don't do anything here, it will just look at the sum total of all of this. And then it'll give you whatever it's closest to tracking to. I think most players who are using this app are probably not going to be day one players who also happen to get Project Rend. I think that's probably going to be less than 1%, if even above 0. So for the rest of us, where your lifetime coins is going to disagree with what's been recorded here, we needed a way to do that. So what it does is it will look for the date that you last updated this, assuming that that number is higher than it is for the sum of these parts, and it will use this as the new floor. So if I change this and add another run, then I will start summing on top of this number instead of all these numbers. So you get like a new floor every time you update this, in case you ever forget to record a run or something like that. One important caveat is that you should only do this when you're in a run. So like I've made, I don't know how many, probably 100,000 or 60 trillion coins for this run so far. So this number is going to be different than this number, but you can see the last time I edited it. So this is the new sum. So that way, you know, if I do it now and then I record the run, I'll be double counting. So I just put that like red warning in there so that you don't do something like that. I also made these kind of filters so that if you just want to see one or the other of the what these charts do. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I thought that was a pretty easy thing to do. I also changed it. So I used to cut this off at about 200 runs in the past. Now the sheet, the page will show everything in here. So I took all the safeties off. I think I will default when you open the app to 200. So if you notice, it's pretty smooth as I scroll. If I go to all runs, and I have a pretty good computer, it's a little choppy. It's not that bad, but I was a little worried about performance. Now that I've seen, you know, I've got 300 runs in here now, and I can see it's like generally well behaved. It will, you know, I think it's fine. So I'm going to open up the door here. Same idea here. Coins, cells are all. I noticed especially that with certain widths of this page, if you make it more narrow, depending on how many of the last 200 or whatever count you've got, sometimes these bars can get really weirdly thin and almost invisible. So I thought that, you know, they're obviously a little bit much wider and useful when you do it this way. So this is a good way to get, you know, the capability of filtering it. And if your columns are getting too thin to see, you can always change the size of the page, but it's another, you know, easy feature to make it simple for you. Everything else down here remains unchanged, but I think still pretty helpful. I've tried to pack as many things into this page as I could possibly do. But now, so I think one of the most important things, one of the things I'm most excited about this week is the analytics page. It's here, it's built, it's ready to go. So I wanted to be able to show like what are your income contributors on both an absolute basis and a percentage basis, changing your income across different runs. And you can always do like, you know, I only want to look at tier 10. I probably should make this so it actually turns them all off. So I only want to see tier 11 in here. So these are all like the tier 11 runs in here, or so it won't actually look at your tournaments unless you have tournament turned on. But I don't think anyone cares about econ for a tournament. If you do, you maybe want to reconsider it. This one is about like how much change in total income you've experienced per run. For both of these, the total income number, so it says total coins at the top of this pop-up here, and then similarly it says total income. This total income number, if you are quick at math, will know that that is not the sum total of each of these individual weapons. This is something the community has talked about for a while, that the battle summary page does not actually give you like an actual representation of how many coins each of your ultimate weapons contributes. It's like it double counts them basically. So that's why I said, okay, the percentage of each contributor is probably meaningful. I suspect if I were not just running Blender all the time, these would have some more variation to them, but because I run the same strategy, because I'm, you know, relatively simplistic about how I approach this game in that way at least, these not a lot of value to, you know, having percentage for me. But I think if I were trying to run Devo, and I think relatively soon I'm going to try to run an Orba strategy of some type, so I might actually see some interesting data in here once I start doing that. Similarly, this is like, did you make more money in the run than you did previously? So if the dot is above the line, the bar will be green, and it will give you like kind of like a total indicator. And then if you did, you know, badly, like I did this run, then, you know, your next one will look a lot better. Similarly, you can get like your kind of total income numbers here as a source, and then your percentage change. So similar, just kind of idea. It's more or less just the wave tops of each of these bars expressed in a different way. You can also look at what the contributions of each of your ultimate weapons is. I think I missed some data in this run. I have to go back and add it. But everything else in here just shows you like what is each of my ultimate weapons actually doing, what is my cells, what is my coins per hour. So you can get some sense of change from all these things too. Just a little bit deeper analytic. Similarly, I have these box plots here. where you can see like what is the contribution of each of these things, so you get like a different sense for like the average inputs of coins from each of these weapons. So like we already knew that the Guardian wasn't doing very much, but this really more or less confirms that like fetch is doing, I think, generally a little bit more than steel. Yeah, a lot more. But if you like statistics, some people really wanted to nerd out on stats, and so I wanted to put like a full box plot capability in here. And then if we go up to the damage explorer, we get very similar charting. So I think I have, I'm going to turn some stuff off in here. No, this is actually just because chain lightning is so strong, it looks like it's the only thing in the chart. But there are other things in here. But so let me turn chain lightning off, and we can see that I think there might be some data issues here. I might have recorded some things maybe as capital S instead of lowercase s at some point. But you can get a much better sense for what your different weapons are doing. And then if you want to like go through your tournaments, you can really deep dive on what your changes are. Because I've recorded so few tournaments of certain stripes in here, I'm only getting some data for that. But for people that like really record a lot of stuff, you're going to get a lot of value out of being able to interrogate your data this way. Similarly for me, because my chain lightning is super well developed relative to my other weapons, obviously the scale is much higher. As you can turn things on and off, you can get a good sense for who's actually doing what if you're ignoring chain lightning, or you can get at least the variance here. But these are some of the deeper analytics that I wanted. So when I mentioned last video that I wanted not necessarily to be feature complete but feature functional, I would call what this looks like as feature functional as I come up with more ideas for other analytics people want, things that are representative systems that are helpful. I will add them in here. Strategy workbench, generally pretty useless because I'm only looking at one or the other, and I only ever record things as farming or blender. If I were running a Devo strategy some of the time, I would probably be able to compare those things apples to oranges, or apples to apples, I don't know, between the two, and that is, you'll be able to turn them on and off, assuming that you had more than one thing in here. But because of my dog food data is my real data, this is what it looks like as I show it. Tournament page, I don't think anything has changed in here whatsoever. Other than I really don't think I belong in champs anymore because of, I'm just staying in graduate mode every single time. The tournament prep button is here in both places. The tournament info button is also in here so that it will open your browser and open up the towertools.lol so you can look at, other tournament information on the internet, because of course I don't have the monopoly on information and I want people to use all of the tools in the community, not just my own. Workshop, the most important thing. Oh, actually, one thing I forgot. In both the analytics page and the dashboard page, if you see a run and you're like, oh, something's wrong with this run, I know this run's actually accurate, you can now click and it will open up the pop-up page for each of the individual runs, and then you can go deeper and edit it if you decide that, oh, actually, this said octillion and I know it's quintillion or whatever it may be, let me update that. So it makes it very easy to go from I see a problem in my data to I can fix the problem in my data without having to like go back and like go through the table and pick the right run out. Now it's very simple just to get in here and look at one run stat, and then you have the longitudinal studies as well. Workshop, most important thing, and I mentioned it a little while ago that I wasn't looking forward to doing it, but I did it, is adding the workshop page, and workshop plus, and that includes all of the cost information. So everything that you've done in here, that you've put into it, how much you spent. And then if you want to know, if you want to take like a student loan out on your stuff, shout out to tags, and then upgrade your one of your workshop, your labs for your cards, then you know how much money that you got just sitting on hand without having to do a respec. I also added some safety into the respec button, where it used to be if you click that button, it would just immediately reset both of them. But now I have like this little confirmation dialogue. Please make sure you know what you're doing before you proceed. Which also has given me the idea of having like a workshop respec planning sheet where you can say, okay, I'm going to do a respec and it's going to be 4 tournaments. Therefore, these are the things that it needs to have. So it just makes it like, basically you're just going to fill it in and then it'll save permanently for whatever you want your respec to be. And I'll put preset pills in there so that you can pick like, okay, I'm going to respec for farming, I'm going to respec, for Devo or whatever it may be. So that way you don't have to think too hard about how you're going to have to respec and like watch a YouTube video or something. I want to make it easy as doing it one time, then you can adjust it and tweak it as you see fit. But the Workshop Plus information is all here. You can set a target. So if I wanted to get my Rend armor multiplier to, that's my actual level, if I want to move it up, it starts giving you like the cost information to get, what it is, and then what's your total spend for that. So you can really get a good sense, and then it'll display it up front for how much stuff is going to cost you. And then you can obviously more better plan for the future for if you want to save for one of these upgrades, because I've been spending a lot of money on coin bonus right now. But I also want to spend more on enemy level skips, and I think my goal is to spend up to, or have the cost be 1 Q per level before I stop spending on it, because it's been so meaningfully helpful to the really rapid rise in my income that you can see on the dashboard page here. Module page remains unchanged. I've done nothing to this part of the page. There is a version on the imposter page that I did make a lot of edits to. But I'm pretty happy with the way all of this has kind of come out. I did do a couple bug fixes with some of the OCR capability. I found some issues with Spotlight, I think, but that's been fixed now. Labs page is the other place where I've been spending a lot of time. So I just clicked it, and now I can see that like there's a bit of a delay. And so now once this recedes, that means the page is actually ready to use. This used to be like a 20-second process before I did some of the refinement work that happened this week. So now that was still long as far as I'm concerned, but it is much faster than it used to be. I mean, we're loading and processing a lot of data every time you open this page, so that's why it has that delay. No other page in this app has that kind of issue, but I know that this one is going to be like a continuous thing that I'm going to try to get more and more refined so that it's faster and faster. The most important thing that I did this week in this page is the lab planner. This was not a feature that I think I even discussed in my last video. I'd shot the last video, I put it on YouTube, and then I was thinking about like, I really want like a way to plan my labs out, and I don't really have anything that I'm aware of. So I went on, I spent a lot of time in the Spartan and the JPlays Discords talking to people. And I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And someone said, oh, you mean like in the effective path sheets? I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. I never even used the effective path sheets, or I haven't in months. I think what they've done is amazing work. I have zero negative things to say about the path sheets. I've just been having more fun trying to think about what I want to do instead of like, having the pathway dictated to me. And that's been, the way that I've been having fun playing the game. But I was unaware that was a feature that already existed in there. So shout out to the path sheet guys for building something and having effectively the same idea as me before I did. I've built my own version of it now, though, because this was something I wanted to do. And, of course, I wasn't trying to copy anybody. It just happened to be that we thought of the same thing twice. But there were a couple tweaks that some people on Discord had talked to me about that they really needed from it. And so I built them into this version of the sheet. So if I want to plan based on my own current lab setup, we'll do coins per kill. Important to note that this list will filter out anything that you've gold boxed, or that you've made the system in here in Rend know that it's gold boxed. So let's see, we want coins per kill. So we'll do U, and I'm going to want to max it out. So I'm just going to leave this thing running until it's done. And you could always edit the speed boost later on. So right now, absent any speed boost, this is going to take 233 days. Well, I know that I'm running at least 3x, sometimes 4x on this thing. So I know that it's actually going to take 77 days, but I've already done a fair amount of this level 80 lab. So I only have an hour and 4 minutes left on it. So it's actually, a day and 4 hours. Day, 4 hours, and sure, we'll call it 6 minutes. We don't have to get it exactly right. So it shortens the last bit of this one here, leaves everything else alone. And then this will give you like how long will your goal take, and you can just add more stuff to this queue if you want to say, okay, and then we'll do starting cash next. Obviously I'm not going to do that, but then that is available to you, way out here. They're so small relative to how big these are, but around the 75-day mark is when I'll start cooking on those. I'll do just a handful more, and then if you change this, it dynamically changes how long things will take. Up here. This is called a Gantt chart, if anyone's interested in charting frameworks. Something that I find a lot of value in, and I think a lot of people, especially if you've been in the military before, you will know what that is. You probably call it a sync matrix. Same idea, does a lot of the same stuff. Is my health lab only 30? I have to work on that one. So let me do health in here, and we'll go to 40, and then close it, and then let me go back because I don't think it'll go it's late. Yeah, so here's all the health labs. So if I just want to get 41 to 41, that'll take me 4.5 days at 3x lab boost. But sure, I'll do death wave coin bonus, and then I'll just add one more to the end of it. So death wave coin bonus, there's only one level left on you, and you've got 6 days and 20 hours left. Ooh, 5. system does insist on having at least something there. 22 minutes, great, update. So I know that my coins or Deathbit Coin Lab will be done in 2.5 days. And then after that, I think I want to start probably another module lab. Let's see. I don't even know what I want to do. But for the sake of conversation, we'll say chronofield duration or range. And then one more there. So I can start like looking at what things are gonna be. And then as you start building this out, we go up to 10 days out, and I can tell you on which days how much coin you're gonna need to have ready for it. This was especially a problem, at least for me, when I was doing wall, because your income isn't super high when you first start doing the wall, and like fortification levels are really expensive relative to what you're making. So someone that I was talking to about this lab planner feature said, I really appreciate that there's an average amount of coin that I'm getting right now that I need to know, but I really need to know on what day is it going to cost me coins so I can appropriately plan for it. So this is the answer to that. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty much feature complete. I built this in, I think, just this weekend that I'm working on. I've been thinking about it for a lot longer, but and then if you close this, if I refresh the app, these are all saved permanently, and it will know when you started them. So if I come back in 2 hours, this will be slightly shorter of a bar, but the bars are always continuously getting slightly shorter. You just have to sit here for a while to watch it. So let me close you back out, get my runway running. And so that is the lab planner feature, something that I don't think I even intended to build it when this started, but then I, had the good idea, and here we are. And really do enjoy being able to iterate really quickly against this, because it's been such a passion project and something that I really wanted to do. Card tracker remains completely unchanged. The imposter page, I did make a couple edits. So I made things a little bit more compact. I also added these card features in here, so now you can look at all your cards and where they're at, or you could just look at individual, what is your setup. I have attack speed, I leveled this down. It's actually, of course, maxed out, but for testing purposes, and I haven't fixed it yet. But you can, if you're showing your tower off to other people, here's my setup, or if you're doing, I've seen other people, but when they are on a video and their tower is being shown, I was okay, if you're showing individual card presets, I want to make sure that you can display them easily here too. And also make this a place where you can take a screenshot or two. So I have a 1080 or 1440p screen, so I can fit a lot of stuff here. But if you have a smaller 1080p, you could do one screenshot, two screenshot. So really you can get all of your stuff in instead of having to stitch together what I think is sometimes 12 or more screenshots to get your tower if you pull it from the app in one place. Now it's, much more convenient here. Or we can go into imposter mode. We can take another person's save file and drop it in here, and then it loads all their data up very, first class way, so that you can see everything and give advice on someone else's tower, instead of, what I see people doing on Discord, where it's oh, go back to this page, let me see this. Now you can just send a file around and everyone can look at it on their own speed and then give you notes or whatever it may be. One thing that I didn't have last week is this modules. Before I get down there, let me call out that I made this more compact. This used to be 3 rows and now it's just 2. Where because Ultimate Weapon is such a long list, I didn't want to break it up in another way. I probably could have made it a wider list, but I chose to put multiple things, so cards, masteries, into one column, and then all of the rest are kind of here. Poor little Bot Labs is out there by himself. If we ever do get more lab sections, which we might, we have gotten new ones in the past, there's at least some white space here that we can fill in before we need to make this longer or add another card set or something. Modules, last time I showed this off, it was just the name of the module and the rarity. I was really worried about space saving, so I decided that the way we could do this and have it both ways is make them drop downs, or accordions as these are called. So if you wanted to just show a couple of your modules off to different people, and you only want to show the ones that you're using for some setup, you can do these drop downs, and then this is an easy single screenshot to send around. Or if you want to show them all, you show them all. I probably should put an expand all, contract all button up here. I haven't done that yet. That's one of those nice to have things that I don't need to get to production, to shipping this, but it's certainly something that's on my mental radar. The last thing that's worth calling out that I worked on this week is the MSI app player, this emulator preference list. So Previously, what I was doing is to use the screenshot, the automatic screenshot capability where it would just like look for BlueStacks or LD Player or MSI app, whatever, is if you had more than one of those things open, if you're playing multiple games, it would just get mad and say, I can't do this. Please close one of those windows. Now I'm going to make a little bit less of an assumption, but that, you're running MSI app player on one game and running BlueStacks to run another game. That way, if you're always running MSI for the tower, then it will always look for this one. This is a permanent saved variable so that if I close this app again, it will just know where to look next time when I open it. It's super convenient. Just make things really simple for you. So, or you can turn it off, and then, if you have everything there, you will have just a drop-down list inside of inside of here. This will be a drop-down list that you can pick stuff from. And if you saw really quickly where it turned yellow, that was it cycling through that, oh, do I have a selection? I do. Okay, find MSI, and then it found it. So now I can just take a screenshot, as I always do with this capability. I believe that is everything from my list that I built this week. I have a relatively short list of to-do items. I think probably the most important one is the vault and key management. I haven't done anything to pull those data in yet. I suspect that won't take me too long. I don't really know if I want to build like the full visual tree or how I want to make it render yet, but that is something that I probably will push after we get out to V1. I'm much more focused on getting things shipped so that people can start using this app. It's been long enough. It's been a few months. I've been talking to people about this. Certain members of the community, like JP978, have made it very clear that they are willing to accept the basic version of the app with some bugs in it than waiting for it to be perfect. And I'm inclined to agree with him. So that's what I'm much more focused on at this point, now that I have reached what I think is pretty much all of my V1 feature completeness that I wanted. Of course, there's going to be updates and things into the future, but for the moment, I'm pretty happy with how this has been going and how it looks. So we're going to focus straight on shipping now. I'm going to have to spend some money in the next couple weeks, but it's going to be worth it. Other than that, yeah, there's a couple other little things in here for making sure that I can pull those battle conditions or making it so that they're editable to you. Other than that, I don't really think that there's too much worth reporting on from my to-do list. There's probably some accessibility things as one last item for making the font bigger, since right now there is no way to make this bigger, and if you have vision issues, then you're kind of in trouble for using this app, at least for the moment. But I think that making a font size changer or in the settings or whatever accessibility features will be next. Some color feature changes, like someone said, hey, can I make the purple into yellow or something like that. I don't have that yet. I've tried to do it before and I ran into some issues, so I gave up on it and went on with the rest of the major feature development. But now that I've got more space, I will think about that again and try to find a way to make it really work. The issue is actually these two charts were not behaving with the theme color changes. So if we can get these two guys to cooperate, then it actually won't be that bad to do multiple color themes, so people don't have to just use this black, purple, and green, I suppose, Green Goblin theme that I've been using. But other than that, yeah, I think that is all that there is to say for the week. Thank you all again for watching video number 5. As always, if you like the video, please like the video. It helps other people find Project Rend. Join the Discord. I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment if there's a feature that you want or something that you think you need here. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody that has requests for features or ideas, or if you hate it, any of the above. I want to hear from you. I would love to, engage further on why you think something is or is not good for you, and then maybe I can make an adjustment, because it's a lot of people have gotten in touch and they've gotten what they've asked for sometimes within the day, and I would like to encourage people to continue doing that. But until then, thank you all as always for watching my video, for being interested in Project Rend, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye bye.